Did you know there's a way to become a real estate investor without ever having to deal with a tenant, without ever having to get a mortgage, and without ever having to fix a leaky sink? It can be done through REIT investing, and I'll tell you all about that now. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Jay, and on this channel, I take my over 20 years of investing experience and I use it to give you the tools, the tips, and the tactics that you need to get the most out of your money. And today we're talking about real estate investing, and more specifically, REIT investing, or real estate investment trusts. So first off, what is a REIT? REIT is an acronym for Real Estate Investment Trust. And a real estate investment trust is an investment vehicle that was established by Congress in the 1960s as an amendment to the cigar excise tax extension. Don't you just love how Congress taxed things on to bills that are totally unrelated to them? God bless America. Now, real estate investment trusts, or REITs, typically own and manage groups of properties specializing in one type of real estate. They could own just apartment complexes, or office parks, or malls and retail facilities, or even cell towers and fiber optic cable. And they're traded on the exchanges just like a normal stock. So you can buy and sell this real estate just like you would a share of Tesla or Apple or any other company. And most notably, because of the way REITs are structured, they are required by law to distribute 90% of their income to their shareholders in the form of a dividend. So that leads us straight into what are the benefits of REIT investing? Well, first and foremost, they're a great way to diversify your investment portfolio into a new type of asset class. So you may own stocks, you may own bonds, but now with REITs, you can also own real estate. And that leads straight into the next benefit of REIT investing, is you can own real estate without any of the headaches of having to own a physical property. Like I said in the intro, you don't have to get a mortgage, you don't have to deal with tenants, you don't have to deal with repairs. And while most people who invest in physical real estate invest in residential properties, investing with REITs gets you access to commercial real estate, which is something that's way beyond the reach of your typical investor normally. Another benefit to REIT investing is the liquidity. Like I mentioned, they trade just like any other stock out there on the market. So you can buy and sell them at any given time throughout the trading day. So whereas if you own a number of rental properties and you want to take some money out of that property, you typically either have to refinance or do some weird things with the mortgage or sell the property outright, which is a very complicated process that takes a lot of time. When you're investing in a REIT, if you want to get your money out of that portion of real estate, all you have to do is log onto your brokerage and hit sell. The next benefit of REIT investing is it allows you to spread out your risk. If I were to go and invest in a rental property, I'd have to put up a ton of money up front to make the purchase of that property, and then when it's all said and done, I only have one property. So if something happens to the local real estate market where that house is, or if something happens to that actual property, natural disaster or a fire or something, my investment is going to take a major hit. But if I'm investing in a REIT, if anything happens to any one specific property that they own, it's generally not going to tank the entire investment. And lastly, the most popular benefit for REIT investing is the dividends. They're an excellent source of dividend income and passive income because they're required to pay out such a large share of their income as a dividend. REITs usually have a pretty high dividend yield, which makes them very popular investments for people seeking out dividends and income. So if you're learning something new about REIT investing, please hit the like button on this video down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already for more videos just like this. Now let's get into the drawbacks of REIT investing. And the top drawback to REIT investing is the dividend taxation. Because REITs are kind of complicated in the way they're regulated and set up, most of the time, but not all of the time, their dividends aren't classified as a qualified dividend, which means oftentimes they're taxed at your ordinary income rate as opposed to the qualified dividend rate, which is much lower. The second drawback to REIT investing is the concentration around a single property type. If you're investing in any individual REIT, they're more often than not going to be specialized in a specific type of real estate. So, like we've seen, if another pandemic hits and your REIT holds hotels, that is going to take a major hit and your investment's going to get crushed. Or if you're investing in a REIT that holds retail stores and malls, those kinds of properties have been on a downtrend for a long time. So you have to be careful with any one specific REIT investment because of that specialization. Now, as many times is the case, you can get around that by investing in a REIT index fund. And the one I've mentioned before, the one I invest in the Vanguard Real Estate Investment Trust Index, which is the ETF that is ticker symbol VNQ. Now, just like a stock index fund, it's a REIT index fund, works the same way. It holds a whole host of REITs in there, so you're able to spread out your risk amongst a large number of REITs so any one doesn't drag you down too much. Now, another drawback to REIT investing is many REITs are highly leveraged. This is because they have to pay out such a large portion of their income as dividends to the shareholders that oftentimes they rely on taking on more debt in order to grow and expand their business and their real estate portfolio. So while oftentimes they can manage this well and it's not really a problem, like any other company, if the debt is poorly managed, it can cause a lot of problems and really draw down on the returns of your investment. Another drawback to reinvesting is that it's less tax efficient than if you were to invest in physical properties. Now, I'm no expert in tax or real estate investing, but if you're out there investing in real estate properties, there are all sorts of little tricks and things you can use to get all sorts of tax breaks and things like that. So while that takes a lot of knowledge and a lot of work, you can do that if you're investing in physical properties, where if you're investing in REITs, you can't really maneuver like that to lower the tax burden. Now, like I said, I think reinvesting is a great way to diversify your portfolio if you want to get into some real estate and you don't want the hassle that goes into buying physical properties. I own the index fund VNQ as part of my portfolio, as well as two individual REITs, ticker symbol O, which is Realty Income, which is in my $0 to $100,000 dividend portfolio I'm building here live on the channel. So subscribe if you want to keep up with that. And as I mentioned in my Roth IRA reveal, I own shares of Crown Castle International, which is a REIT that owns cell phone towers and etc. I hope you've learned something about REITs, real estate investment trust investing. Let me know down in the comments if you think REITs are for you. And if you want to keep learning more, click on one of the two videos right over here. They'll make you better with your money, and I hope to see you over there.